around with us on top, and out we went, and that was the end of us for the day. But anyway, we had a lot of fun down there, dancing and learning how to ride the elephants and beaching. And one day it came to where we were getting on or off a train, and they had to make us up. So I got to in line and got the makeup man. He said, "Gosh, you're so dark. I don't know what I'm going to do with you, And I said, "Oh." So if you see me, I'm practically in black skating off the thing. But anyway, I found out he did a funny one. This makeup man was into dyeing hair. So he always made a move on one of the little gals that worked in the circus and said, "Well, come by my room tonight and I'll dye your hair, you're red again," whatever. She said, "Oh, fine." So she never showed up, so he dyed his hair and his chest and whatever and came to work the next day, and we said, "What happened to you?" But anyway, so I just went to the beach, and down to the beach we had a public telephone up above the volleyball courts and stuff. So anytime the phone rang, somebody said, "Get that phone, get that phone, get that phone. It's a job, a job." And sure enough, all the kids that were doing bit parts or whatever, the agents had that number to call. So that's what sort of ruined me. But anyway, I enjoyed it.
So all you surfers now with cell phones, we don't have to worry about public phones, right? Hey, you're surfing out there, I got a call from my agent, right, One of the things, too, that I found very interesting was now that you've moved up through the westerns and stuff, and now you landed the job as the first Lois Lane. And you're now 26 and you're working with Kirk Allen. I had the pleasure of meeting Kirk, at one of the conventions many, many years ago. A very distinguished gentleman. So for many of the people here who don't know about it, that Superman serial with Kirk and Noel is available on DVD, Netflix, or buy it from the Cliffhangers. It's in the book. Could you tell us a little bit about the first Superman, Kirk Allen?
Oh, Kirk was actually a dancer back in New York, and so he could make it look real, when he had to take a little run and a little leap to go out of frame or to turn into a comic character on the screen. But he was very, very good, and he was so unhappy when he wasn't picked to be Superman in the series. And we didn't really know they were even filming them. I didn't know. It didn't bother. They were doing it back in New York, and we were working out in California. But he was very nice, and he ended up doing mostly conventions and stuff, and he did a series too, and he did quite well and got remarried and moved to Texas and died. But anyway, I hear about Superman's curse occasionally when I'm at the convention. And I think, gosh, I'd never heard of that. And then I got to thinking and looking in the book, and I said, well, Kirk Allen's gone, Christopher Reeve is gone, George Reeve's gone. I'm the curse. I'm still here.
Yeah, and Jack Larson's still here, too.
Yes,
bless his heart. Jack Larson played Jimmy Olsen in the TV series with Noel when she played Lois Lane. And they're dear friends. And I know that many of you have the question, so we'll just take care of this right now. Neither Jack nor Noel believe that George Reeves committed suicide. He was a dear friend, and over the years, you can imagine how many times she's been asked this topic. So we're just going to leave it at that and say he was a friend of hers, and we're going to show some dignity here for George and just talk about him in fond ways if that comes up. But as far as the question, no, she does not believe he committed suicide, and we'll just leave it at that, okay? Okay, so now, she's now Lois Lane, but as she said, the TV series came along, and they didn't want anybody from the movie serial. So all the people that were in the movie serial were not asked to be on the TV show. So she was not involved in the first season. It was only from 1953 to 57, from the second season on, that they called you. And when they did call you, did they give you any reason, or how did that happen when they called you back?
Well, Kellogg's had sort of gotten into the act with DC Comics, and they wanted to keep the series very light and very happy because they said, we're trying to sell cereal to the children, so we don't want any, killings and blood all over the place and whatever. And the first producer did almost film noir, and so they, and he promised, he said he was going to finance the first 26, but he didn't. He didn't have any money. He promised all the actors that were working. Like poor George didn't make a cent, and he promised them a piece of the action, which he didn't have to give away. So anyway, they got rid of him and several other people who shall remain nameless. And the producer called me and said, hey, we're starting another 26. Do you want to be Lois Lane again? I said, sure, it's work, isn't it? Yes, love to. And so I went in and the studio to get fitted for whatever, my one suit. Hi there. And, so I was with the group until the year that George died, the producer called and said, well, we're going to do another 26. We've gotten our movies from the script from New York already, and we're going to start in September, do another 26. George was going to direct most of the movies, of the series, because he always said to me, he said, Noel, he said, I'm getting a little old to be running around in my underwear, which is what he called his uniform. But so I saw George, and he was happy, and he was playing little gin rummy with one of the directors, and everything was happy. And so I said, well, see you soon. And went home. A few days later, this girlfriend called and said, do you hear what happened to George? And I thought she meant her husband, which was no great loss, but excuse me, George, wherever you are. And so anyway, shame on me. But anyway, so I called the producer and I said, what's going on? And he said, well, George committed suicide. And I said, oh, come on, no. I saw him a few days ago and he was happy. He was going to do another B movie first, and then we were going to do another 26, and he was going to direct what he wanted to do, and he was just happy as a bug. So naturally, I couldn't believe it, and finally I convinced Jack, and quite a few things they investigated, but nothing was ever really proved in contract except that he... Hi there.
Those are the surfers that just got here.
Oh, and they brought those little things with them. Oh, okay. The little seagulls, okay. Yeah. But anyway, we sure miss them. And that was, they decided, well, we had over 100 shows, which is what you need for syndication. So that was the end, but we miss them. Yes.
That brings up another good question I wanted to ask you. Syndication nowadays with the royalties and the rights, things have changed, but you don't get any royalties anymore. This show has almost never been off the air, and you haven't been paid royalties since 1965, I believe. And even though your contract said that you would get paid, our friend Ronald Reagan gave away those rights for anything pre-65, is that Larry? 62. In negotiations when he was president of the Screen Actors Guild, so you have not received a dime since 62?
Jack and I had gone to the Guild to fight for our last few. And in 65, we actually got, I think, about 15 cents or something, but not anymore. And also pre-48 movies and the big studios. So a lot of the big studios kind of closed, and they checked out the casting directors that we all knew. And so just a big change. And the Young Turks from New York came out to do a lot of movies or series or things for TV. And of course they liked younger people and ladies with big hooters and whatever. And so we were out, but Jack did some good movies, so he doesn't care really, but we missed the show. It was fun. It's all over the world now, of course.